So I'm reading Philadelphia Daily News. Les Bowen covers the Eagles and kind enough to join us. What is the real story behind this, Les?
I'm not sure I'm up to explaining that, Dan, but what I wrote was that this gang thing provided cover for the Eagles. They released DeSean Jackson and released a statement about releasing DeSean Jackson about 40 minutes after the NJ.com story was posted, which leads me to the undeniable conclusion that there wasn't a meeting between Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, and Howie Roseman, the general manager, and Chip Kelly, the coach, in 40 minutes in which they reached a decision and crafted a statement. They were ready for this to break, and they thought this was a good time to do this and mute the reaction from their fans. But I think in doing it that way, they really gave those allegations quite a bit of weight that they might not have acquired on their own.
What's his reputation?
Aloof, a little immature, but I've always called him the Eagles' get-out-of-jail-free card. He's the guy that if the offense is sputtering and you can't get anything going, suddenly you hit one over the top to him and the game looks different. And that's been the kind of player he is. I think he's had more 50-plus yard touchdown catches since he came in the league than any other player. A lot of these issues, you were alluding to this when you started talking about this, a lot of these issues with his off-the-field conduct, they're not new. There's nothing here that's suddenly developed within the last few months. They've been dealing with this, since he came into the league. They gave him a new contract, a 5-year, $48 million extension in 2012, after he acknowledged that he sort of didn't try very hard in the 2011 season because he was ticked about his contract. If you're willing to do that at that point, you're willing to put up with a lot. But this was long before Chip Kelly came along, and I think Chip has a different idea about the kind of culture and the kind of atmosphere he wants to foster. And, here we are.
The gang affiliation, legit?
It's so hard to know, Dan. I think everything I know kind of portrays him as a wannabe, as a guy who likes the cachet, who has a rap label that kind of benefits from that sort of, I'm bad sort of reputation. But this is a guy who grew up in a two-parent household. His mother is a really smart, articulate, interesting woman. I just don't, and also these allegations don't really amount to a whole lot. To people who maybe don't know a lot about the lives of NFL players and where they come from, the idea that he might know someone who was tried and acquitted of murder is shocking. But, that's not that uncommon in the NFL.
And
Correll
where he grew up.
When he was with the Eagles, Correll Buckhalter, who was a beloved Eagle and a great guy, the whole time he was with the Eagles, his brother was in prison for murder. Was he affiliated with his brother? I guess. I just don't know. None of this adds up to anything that he's ever been arrested for, indicted for, suspended for. This is a league that we all know what happened with Ray Lewis, and he's one of the great, revered figures of the NFL today. It's just not that unusual for someone to have an association with unsavory activities, unfortunately.
He's Les Bowen, who covers the Eagles for the Philadelphia Daily News. Local reaction to this is what?
Well, I think the Eagles did a good job Friday in tying it to this gang story. Initial reaction was, whoa, there must be something really bad about to come out here. The Eagles are obviously being smart. But now that nothing further has come out and that other teams are, and this is what's crucial to me, other teams are very quickly moving to court him. reaction is pretty, hey, wait a minute, what the heck happened here? Why is one of our best players down in Washington with a division rival, apparently on the verge of signing? And the Eagles haven't answered any questions about this, and I think there's a pretty big uproar right now about how exactly this happened and why.
Chip Kelly has not addressed this?
Not at all. They've issued a 25-word statement Friday saying that they were releasing DeSean Jackson, that he'd been informed of his release that morning. And that's all they've had to say. Nobody has said word one, explaining why this was necessary. Chip talked last week at the NFL meetings when they were still trying to trade DeSean about, that he had no problems with him last season, blah, 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 blah. You can kind of say, okay, they were still trying to get something for the guy at that point, but he has said nothing that would lead you to believe there was any problem between them or any issue that was unresolved. It's something that's going to have to be explained at some point in some manner, but we don't know when that point's going to be.
If the gang-related column didn't come out, could they have traded him, gotten something for him?
I think they were holding on to that possibility. The fact that they came home from the NFL meetings without a deal leads me to believe that it was proving difficult. Now, I talked to someone, a general manager from another team, who said when they first started talking about this back at the scouting combine in February, the Eagles wanted a lot, that they wanted more than a second-round draft pick. Now, there's a lot of room between more than a second-round draft pick and releasing a guy for nothing. I don't know if they dropped their price. I don't know if they were, they made it plain at the NFL meetings they were willing to take almost anything. I just don't know what their stance was, but it's pretty clear they came to the conclusion when this gang story came out that just killed his value and that they might as well just move on. He has a big contract, or had a big contract, and he wants more money or wanted more money from the Eagles. So there were some problems with trading him, but that's one of the questions they're going to have to answer from their fan base, particularly if he ends up with a division rival.
Yeah.
The thing about trading him is you can trade him to the Jets or somebody you're never going to play. You don't want him. You're going to see him twice a year if he signs in Washington, and that's not good.
Les, thank you. We appreciate it. Look forward to when Chip Kelly does address this. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're very welcome, Dan. Take care.
All right, Les Bowen, Philadelphia Daily News.